Hello, hello, hello. Is my mic all working? Are we all good? I use my cameras. The Blair as well now. I'm not playing any games. I got myself an Aero honeycomb mocha. It's hot. It's hot. Watching the SpaceX launch. Things are underway. Smoke. Like right now, we're like, they will be doing. Well, I'll do the liquid night oxygen, liquid methane. It'd be fun. I bought new games. So I thought I'd treat myself. So I ended up buying a Farmer Sim, the new one. Because I wanted yet another game that I could just chill on sometime. Plus, I was watching someone play it the other day. I was just like, that looks like something I can waste 4 hours on a Sunday. Everything seems like it's going to be the same as last time, except for the. They haven't done it yet, but I think they might do a Raptor in, well, Raptor relay in space. Basically, it's not like you've got loads of games like that already. I know, yeah. It was just as Hunter was playing his card one. Yeah, it's a bit like Supermarket Sim, but it's the card one, the Pokemon card style shop. And he raided out to another lad who played some ranch, who was playing Farming Sim, and I was just like, I did play. I've still got. I've still got Farmers from 22. Not when I was playing with Ash and Paul. I know they've got the new one because I've seen them playing it. I was just like, oh, I'll get it. It's just supposed to be a thing when you get older. You just like to play games where, well, not just Sims, but, well, time, but yeah. Games that you burn time away with. We actually got the Game Awards coming up on me next month. I know we'll get the next GTA trailer soon, because it's, I mean, I can't believe it's not been a year since the last one came out. But about that, you'd expect one and like next summer get like the sort of in-game, you know, showcase gameplay. The SpaceX feed, I think, starts about 1:15, about 5 minutes. The ones behind me, that's the webcams. That's just up 24/7. I sometimes just leave that on. Just even when obviously it just sits there, but then he'll. I mean, this is like one of the quickest turnarounds I think. It's only I've seen before, it's 39 days since the last one. But I do know that the 5th one was slightly delayed, but many reasons. So I think they got this one ready anyway in the meantime. But they're hopefully bringing the booster back again, because that was pretty cool last time I done that. I actually thought it was going to crash into it the way it went into the tower. I was like, it's going to hit it. I was like, I was in my front room, right in front of the telly, standing up, and Pat was like, oh, it's going to hit it. It's like it's going to do it. Or it's going to take out the whole launch pad and blow up. But either way, it's going to look cool. I like the re-entry though of the Starship, because just the plasma and all that on it, and it has it heating up. Because it has the Starlink on it, and you just have the cameras watching the whole way down. It's just so cool. How's your day been? Mod on YouTube, mod on Twitch, modern life. Modern life, yeah. Want to keep yourself warm with thermal. Had to cut up the green hook case, go to work, have a blood test, and then come home. Blood tests! Get off my blood! Watch the recap from last flight while we wait. Watch the recap. 3 freaking vials they took. 3 vials! Jesus, the goddamn vampires. Goddamn vampires! The recap of the last one.
Attention all flight crew members, this is the final go-no-go poll for operations. Raptor 1.
Raptor 1's go.
Raptor 2.
Go.
Stage 1.
Go.
Stage 2.
Go.
Flight directors go for launch.
Huge.
We have liftoff.
I love the cameras. I got some good footage out of it.
Vehicles pitching downrange. Max Q.
Ship engine startup.
Stage separation.
Booster back burn.
On Albion 0, 30 seconds till catch decision.
Confirming.
When
30 seconds
it does
till
that, that's where we gotta wait and see if they have confirmation, see it's come back to the tower.
10 seconds till catch decision.
Hot stage separation confirmed.
Flight directors go for booster return. Operator go vote is set true. We are go for catch.
Booster coming in hot for booster catch.
Big cigar coming down out the sky.
Booster FTS is saved.
And I ignite 13 of those Raptor engines, and this view is incredible right now. I can't wait for us to hear the sonic boom.
Booster landing burn startup.
This is where I thought it's gonna hit the tower. It's just because it went on this weird angle like that. And That angle.
This is absolutely insane. On the first ever attempt, we have successfully caught the super heavy booster.
Zilla has caught the booster.
Ship avionics power telemetry nominal.
Starship has entered the atmosphere.
Right, did it.
Starship is approaching the peak heating phase of entry.
Landing bridge startup.
So they'll do it a lot later now, so it's going to be daylight in the Indian Ocean. So we'll be able to see it in daylight, hopefully.
Starship has landed.
That's what they kind of do, like work on the heat shields, what they don't need, a little bit. So it should be pretty fun. Yeah, because they're going later now, I think that's also because it goes down in the Indian Ocean. There should be daylight there this time. If I am correct. Because normally they launch in the morning, which is about 2 PM our time. I'll be either at work or it's weekend. A lot of smoke. Oh, it's going to be loads of smoke. I'm going to see if they do it today. What time are we on? Got 5 minutes till they start the stream. Got 5 minutes. Put the music back on. They want to do. They're going to try and do a raptor relighting while it's up there as well, because they haven't done that yet. I can't wait till the second tower. There's got another tower next to it. And I don't know if eventually they're going to bring the booster down and then the Starship's going to land on the other tower, maybe. Times haven't changed, so check X while we're here, their updates. I think they said they got a 40-minute window, but hiccups. I don't think they've always launched on time. Starship. The apparent load of Starship's upper stage is now underway. That's 6 minutes ago. It's launched 114 Falcon missions this year. They did 3 of them in the last 20 hours. It's literally going to become, it's like a big spaceport. We don't need that up. Yeah, I've downloaded that. That's what I was doing before I started. I was installing Farmington. It's even worse now that I'm working as a blacksmith. And I just clicked on. See, that's just blank. I'm a blacksmith on it now, so that's just the same kind of thing. I've got to grind and sell stuff. And by the time I sell stuff, I grind more stuff or get the orders in. See that yesterday? I was literally just went down, mine some stuff, and then get back, start thinking. Oh, it's all a pickaxe. All the stuff in, everything else will be solid tonight. If I get up tomorrow, I have to go in and restock everything. Time will fly. Let's get this up. Got in no time. Like, if it launches at 10, within the first 7 minutes, the boost will be back down. And then it'll coast. Starship will coast and it comes back down. Maybe at the hour mark. The whole thing's probably about an hour 15. Okay. Well, it's about an hour and 6. It seems to be. Because you can only stop the broadcast for like half an hour and then come back home when it's going for re-entry. But I've also seen people put full length videos up and put music over it where like you're just watching it while it's just coasting. Hopefully it stays up on this. I'm on the SpaceX website. Mainly because I want to see what the quality was like. I know X isn't great with quality. Starting to get comfy. Take me to it anyway. Hopefully it runs alright. Yeah. Just go to my head till it starts up. It's 1080. Website just took me to X anyway, so. You probably see that screen lights up first when it does launch, because that'll be on the webcams. Just probably have a delay. Busy day tomorrow. Did you say tomorrow's supposed to be really cold? I remember seeing it on the news actually. Actually coped it okay today. Okay with today. Yup. Oh, not the wind. Just had to put like cream on my face because I could feel the eczema on my forehead just burning away. Lower 2, high as 7. I mean, it goes to high as 7, but we also got rain. Oh, so it's gonna be the sunny at 12, just 7. Do the last final prep bits for the afternoon tea. You sold out dip on that on your Christmas one, haven't you? That's what you mean? I put on a weird face there. It was to knock my camera on. 131,000 views the SpaceX stream's on now. 159,000. 66 people. That's good. It's good. All fully done. Jesus, the views on the SpaceX stream's got up on 50k. Like 5 seconds. Oh, Jesus. Look at how big it is, so you see the humans on it.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 6th flight test of Starship.
Daylight.
It is currently 3:25 p.m. Central Time at Starbase, Texas, and it has been just 40 days since our last launch of the world's biggest rocket. We're targeting our first afternoon Starship liftoff just 34 minutes from now, and that will occur at 4 p.m. Central Time. Now, this timing will bring us daylight views of the ship splashing down on the other side of the world. I'm Kate Tice, Senior Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX.
And I'm Jesse Anderson, a Senior Structures Engineering Manager, and we are joining you live from SpaceX Hawthorne. On Flight 5, we promised you maximum excitement, and Starship delivered in what had to be one of the most memorable moments in my time here at SpaceX.
Same.
Like so many of you, we were in utter shock as we watched that historic booster catch unfold, and we're back today to try and do it all over again.
Put a banana on it, like
it's been just over a month since Flight 5,
painted it on or whatever.
our quickest turnaround yet between Starship flight tests. Our ultimate goal is to get that turnaround
It's like a scale thing, like a human banana and holding a banana or something.
The SpaceX team went to work, immediately implementing lessons learned into the vehicle and tower's hardware and software systems.
That's the other tower they're building now.
This is what rapid iteration looks like. We gather real data from these test flights and turn around and fly again as soon as possible. This is the process that is bringing us the rapidly reusable Starship that will soon be taking us to the Moon and Mars.
Flight 5 proved that we can safely bring the booster back to the launch tower, which is a key factor in driving rapid reusability, and land ship with a high-precision splashdown in the Indian Ocean. We'll be taking you through today's test objectives in just a moment, but first, let's check in with Dan, who is on the ground just a few miles from the pad at Starbase with the best views. How's it going, Dan?
Hey Jesse, it's going fantastic. I got a couple hundred of my best friends out here ready to watch this launch and hopefully another catch today. But welcome everybody back to Starbase for another Starship launch. I'm Dan Hewitt. Got Launch Control Center right behind me, tower just about 6 miles over that shoulder. It has been a pretty quiet countdown. Not a lot of chatter on the loops right now as we are into prop load, and we are counting down to the very top of our window at 4 p.m. Central Time, so just about 32 minutes from now. Right now, the range is projected to be clear by then. We've got our assets out there making sure land, air, sea, everything around the launch pad and then our flight path are clear before we give the final go to liftoff today. We got through the weather poll. Everything was looking great. A little breezy today, but well within our constraints for both launch and catch criteria. And as you can tell, we're loading propellant onboard the vehicle. You can see those white frost lines starting to tick up as we're putting the cryogenic, the liquid methane, and liquid oxygen out to both of those vehicles. The ship prop load started at about T-minus 49 minutes, and then the booster followed just a couple minutes after at about T-minus 41. We're almost halfway full on ship, just about a third on booster. Those are both going to continue until we're about 3 minutes, 20 seconds.
I know it. They show you everything, all the engine
and the
stuff.
booster is going to close out at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So we pretty much are reloading up right to that last possible minute, keeping it as dense and cold as possible, and then getting off the launch pad. The countdown startup sequence, everything will look very familiar if you watched Flight 5, assuming you did. But you're going to see the engines start to ignite at about 3 seconds before liftoff. They're going to start up in 3 different groups. First, those center 13, then 15 of that outer ring, and then those final 5, bringing all 33 Raptors online. After that, we'll see about a second later, and then it'll lift off, so a couple seconds from first light until motion. As usual, we can hold at T-minus 40 seconds if we have any last-minute issues to clear, anything with the range, anything that triggers on the vehicle. And if we pass T-minus 10 seconds, the deflector fires, and then we scrub, then we're done for the day for at least 24 hours. But weather is fantastic, light breeze, no clouds in the sky. Not tracking any hardware constraints to launch today. If we're not able to get off the pad, though, we've got opportunities throughout the week. Could be 24 to 48 hours later. But everything looking great. I'm excited to be able to see another one of these get off the pad. Check back in with everybody in just a couple of minutes. Back over to Jesse and Kate.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Now, you could see those 2 towers in the back there in the distance at Starbase. Starbase is really coming along just as rapidly as Starship itself.
Alright, we could just go back here. We got half an hour.
Online next year, and it will allow us to increase our flight cadence and test even more frequently. And just a few kilometers away from the 2 towers, our cutting-edge 1 million square foot star factory.
Right down for now. The launch. With that though, yeah. Some point I'm gonna chill on farm some. We'll see how it's like. It's loads to do on it. I had like a brief time I was playing it with Paul and that. We need to revisit the forest again, haven't we? The Sons of the Forest. That's been all updated and stuff now, I believe. There's so many mods in my supermarket sim. I don't really have to do anything now. I'll just sit around. It has been updated. Trying to find out my library. Sons of the Forest, isn't it? There you are. There you are. Major update February. Well, that was ages ago. Jesus. New title series, end credits, visuals, added new choice, alternate ending, added 5 new cutscenes, new voice actor and details. Added proximity voice chat with filters for in caves and underwater. Oh wow. Oh. Creative mode. Added raccoons. I gave ability for squirrels and raccoons to climb trees. Okay. Added 2 new mutants, Legsy and Holy. Okay. A new story item pickups added. I don't know, haven't they? Golf carts now come equipped with radio decks and a GPS screen. Check it out again at some point. I think I like a bit of a boss ending because I did not understand the ending. I was like, what the fuck? It was a very weird storyline. It was. I just didn't understand the way it opened. I was looking at it, all of a sudden it was Blade Runner. If that's what I remember correctly, or it was some factory thing. Bum, bum, bum. I mean, it's a fun game. It looked great, but yeah, guess I mean, like it come out unfinished, didn't it? I mean, even that says just says major update version 1. Sorry. But when did it actually March 23? Is that when it come out? Earlier. Feb. We played the early access, didn't we? Maybe that was February the 3rd. Oh. Me standing there. the gliders. Millennium Falcon. 121 meters high. Thirty-three engines. Yeah, I feel good for the 10 launch. Oh, there we go. I don't want to go on the bottom of my taskbar and just minimize everything. I've literally just got this set on desktop because I don't want to mess about all different windows. Objectives: restart of Raptor engines in vacuum, daylight landing of the ship, higher peak heating, steeper re-entry. You come in heavy, faster, harder booster catch. With thousands of small design changes. What's faster, harder booster catch? It's good. Just let it come down a lot more. Because the Starship doesn't like reignite until like a kilometer off the ground. I'm just looking at updates, but everything seems all good. Yeah, let's see. Test the heat shield. And like, so again, the maneuvering changes for ship re-entry. Just gonna push the limit. Might as well not getting it back. Spotify. I'll be back. A second. saxophones going. Speed up the timing on this one. It's like perfect timing. Any important messages I've not seen? No. No.
Increase the structural, as well as increasing the structural strength in a few spots. We've also implemented a few changes across both ship and tower to try and speed up the post-catch timeline. Returning vehicles to the launch site leverages the same hardware that we use for stacking ahead of flight, making our infrastructure multi-purpose. And in order for us to achieve that rapid reusability that we keep talking about, we need a quick turnaround. And you can't get much faster than returning the launch vehicle right back there to where it needs to launch from again.
Exactly. In this video, you can see our original render of booster catch alongside the actual footage of catch from Flight 5. This video is just mind-blowing to see the predicted versus reality. And just like the last flight for today's booster catch, there are thousands of criteria that need to be met in order to proceed with catch. Automated checks have to indicate we have a healthy booster and a healthy tower, and the flight director must issue a manual command which is informed by manual checks from the flight control team. If this command is not sent prior to the completion of the boost back burn, or if automated health checks show unacceptable conditions with Super Heavy or the tower, the booster will default to a trajectory that takes it to a landing burn and soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
I remember when we first heard the call out that tower was go for catch on Flight 5, and wow, I still get goosebumps when I think about that moment. Now, for today's test, just like Flight 5, we're only going to catch if everything on the booster and the tower checks out after launch. As always, we accept no compromises when it comes to the safety of the public and our team. And so to that end, the area around the pad and the flight path are cleared in advance.
A lot of things have to go right in order to line up the booster catch.
Gotta make sure we have 33 Raptors going at the start.
Catch, but there is a chance that we may not. Either way, we'll be getting tons of in-flight data, which is extremely valuable.
Exactly. That first catch was pretty epic, though. So, like you, we'll be keeping our hopes high to see another one this afternoon. Now, Dan, you got to see it in person last time. Are you mentally prepared for a possible round two?
I mean, probably not. That was pretty hands down the coolest thing I've ever seen, and the fact that we're going to do that every time now breaks my brain a little bit, but it was absolutely incredible. One of the unique aspects with Super Heavy coming back is it does generate a sonic boom. This is something commonly associated with reusable spacecraft. It's coming in faster than the speed of sound and then slowing down. It creates that pressure wave that builds up, and then when it reaches you on the ground, that rapid change in pressure is that quick thunderclap sound that you hear. Now, generally the only effect is that thunderclap sound, but if you're not expecting it, it's definitely going to get your attention, and we were able to hear it last time. The impact of, or how loud it is, changes pretty dramatically. And in this video, you can see as we were descending, and there was kind of that quick triple pop that you heard. Now, that was picked up from closer to the pad. Most people at our distance and further away, you're only going to hear one or two as they're happening kind of so.
I've seen videos like people on the beach,
that it might just.
And I don't really landed just when it.
As I said, that's something that's only associated with spacecraft being reused. We hear it with Falcon 9. We heard it during shuttle, and looking forward to hopefully hearing it today. Just a quick status check, though. We're about 85% full on ship, almost 2/3 of the way full on booster, continuing to count down about 13.5 minutes, a little under that, until we lift off today. But still looking good. I'll check back in with you guys in a few minutes. Back over to Jesse and Kate.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I think Dan said it really well when it really does hurt the brain to think that...
Wait till we get to the 5-minute mark. What are you doing this evening? Just chilling. Just chilling. Yell it, killing. Layman for Mars. I still have bum simulator as well. Not actual bum, I mean like homeless guy bum. I think I bought that. I think it come with something else. I was just like, I need some stupid games, just funny ones. You read into it? If you go to the website, it's got everything that's going on this flight. But very interesting stuff. Keep like me. I've run out of coffee. We gotta do that as well. That's the fuel transfer. Dink. Have to go make another trip before launch. I like the music playing low and put those up.
Axiom space and leave the first footprints on the moon in more than half a century, kickstarting humanity's mission to establish a sustainable presence there. And coming soon to a moon base alpha near you, Starship Enterprise Edition.
That is so exciting, and all the advancements that are going to come in order to enable all of that. Now, our rapid iterative development approach has been the basis for all of SpaceX's major innovative advancements, including Falcon, Dragon, and Starlink. Today, we're testing hardware and systems, and we need to know how they perform under the most extreme conditions. And what's more extreme than the flight environment? We'd much rather find the bugs and limits now during testing than later on when there's more on the line.
And to reiterate, while we do determine an acceptable level of technical risk on our vehicle and pad to learn as fast as possible, we accept no compromises when it comes to the safety of the public or our team. So all that to say, this is only the 6th of many future flight tests of Starship before it becomes fully operational.
And we tend to do our testing out in the open, just like today. And that means people sometimes see when our hardware doesn't perform as we planned during that testing. And that's okay, because this is exactly what we are testing for, to physically see if hardware performance matches what we expect it to do or not. Even more with today's test flight, where we're purposefully pushing the ship beyond its limits.
Starship development is also being aided by Starlink space-based connectivity. You might remember the Starlink panels that are incorporated into Starship, and you can see them there on your screen, those rectangular panels on Starship's nose cone. Starlink brings us the epic views in space and on re-entry, and also helps deliver us critical flight data engineers need to continue development.
Yeah, Starlink continues to help us push the limits in space in the short term by providing great views and real-time data on our next few flights, particularly through re-entry, which spaceflight veterans know that is historically a period of blackout for all communications within spaceflight.
Outside of Starship, Starlink has helped people across the globe, particularly in rural and remote areas that have been underserved by...
Yeah, that'd be the Biden administration. Stuff like that. Yeah, like Elon, do they? I think that's why there was a few delays on some of the previous ones. Like an environmental one. Because they were saying, because the water comes up the deluge, whatever you call it, sprays so it doesn't blow up, well, burn through the launch pad like the first one. So that was one, because they were trying to say it was, even though it's just water, it was kind of like business water. The environmental, well, yeah, because they were saying the water deluge was, you know, contaminated if that was just water. Cool it down. That one, I don't know. There's one on Elon was going on with it. They were saying, I remember one saying about it on Joe Rogan. It's about like because they was having a go because he wasn't employing asylum seekers or something like that. But at the same time, he couldn't because it's classed as, you know, working with rockets, so rocket technology. There's like, there's that one, but then there's also another one which contradicts the other one. So.
Spacecraft entering over Mars encountered more than twice the amount of atomic oxygen at their peak when compared to Earth. And that is certainly
We're going to 5 minutes now, really.
As we continue to test, we'll learn more about what makes a great heat shield for Mars. All right, now that we're heading into the final minutes of the countdown, let's go back to Dan for the latest on the ground there at Starbase.
Let's see where we're at.
Hey, Kate, afraid I have nothing but good news for you. We have a go from our range safety team. We are a little over 90% full on ship, almost 85% full on booster, and not tracking any holds to an on-time liftoff. So we've got about 3 more minutes of prop load. As long as the range stays clear, we don't trip any other holds, we might blow right past that T-minus 40-second mark and lift off right at the top of our window at 4 p.m. Central. So toss it back to you guys one more time, but fun part about to start, we are, what, a little under 6 minutes away from launch.
All right, so we are continuing to progress now at 5 minutes and 43 seconds until liftoff. Now, once we pass the T-minus 40-second mark, a number of events are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems will come up to flight pressure, and the ship will go on to internal power.
And then after that, the quick disconnect, or what we call the QD arm lockout, is removed in preparation for retraction shortly after T0. And once we pass the T-minus 40-second mark, we still have the ability to recycle the count under certain conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds.
I just take
and then
my mouse
hold
off
there
there
to assess what happened and if we can
cursor.
proceed again to T0.
Exactly. However, once the water for the deflector system begins flowing at T-minus 10 seconds, any issue after that would be an automatic scrub for the day, as the teams would need to refill the deflector's water tanks as well as the propellant storage tanks over at the tank farm before we're able to make another attempt.
Now, it is just so unbelievable that it's just been only a little over a month, and we are just a few minutes away from Flight 6. The crowd here is building up. We've
76
got a
degrees
much larger
Fahrenheit.
crowd here than when we were launching at 4 or 5 in the morning out here. So very exciting to have an afternoon launch to have all the employees here.
Exactly. Now, just as a reminder, that T-minus 40-second hold, if we opt to use it, everything is still potentially go for launch. So nothing to be worried about there. At that point, basically, up until T-minus 40 seconds, all aborts are just holds. This would allow the team to wait for final checkouts to assess propellant levels, engines, avionics, vehicle pressurization, range, weather. Occasionally, we've had shrimp boats lingering in the past, but that doesn't sound like that is the case today.
Yeah, not today. No shrimp boats, which is great. Everything so far is looking good. We're getting really excited here, just a few minutes away. We're going to go back, send it over to Dan in Starbase. How's it going, Dan?
Switch all that off.
It is still going great. Just coming up on about 3.5 minutes away, so we should be done with our prop load on ship momentarily. Then about 30 seconds later, we'll close out on booster. Our flight control team on board, or in the building just behind me, not on board. Some of them might wish they were on board. Flight control team in the building behind me, they're going to have a lot of work to do right after we lift off, as we still have a lot of manual checks that happen on the tower prior to the flight director, who's going to be Tristan Pierce again today, giving a manual command to bring the booster back to the launch site. And the tower did just incredibly well on the last flight. We didn't lose any of our required redundancy for a catch, so we're hoping to see that again today. A lot of the team, really putting armor on the tower, making all of those things work, played a huge role in making that catch possible, and looking forward to hopefully seeing that happen again. And of course, sending our first payload to space. You can see the banana. It's very tightly secured, but I assure you it does have some room to float around. So once we're in a zero gravity environment, we should see our first Starship zero gravity indicator putting on a little bit of a show. And that's looking right in. That's where we're going to have Starlinks. That's our PEZ deployer. So getting its ride to space. So coming up on about 2.5 minutes, we are closing out on all of our prop load. Yep, just heard that our fill drains are starting to close, so that means we're no longer going to be flowing propellant into the booster and the ship. We're going to do what's called pushbacks. So all of that propellant in the ground systems is going to get pushed back to the tanks, clear out everything around the pad right before we light those 33 engines and take off. Just quick reminder, you're going to see fire start at the bottom. You're going to see the deflector start at about 10 seconds before launch. Lots of water to help dissipate all that heat, all that sound. And then the engine starting up in 3 different groups. And then about a second after T0, we should see liftoff. About 2.5 minutes into the flight, a little bit longer, we'll see hot staging. And that's when we're going to be listening really close on those loops to see if we're going to be bringing the booster back for a catch today. Do always want to caution, it's never a guarantee. We've done this once. We'll see if we do it again. We're only going to do it if the booster and the tower are looking really good before we attempt to bring it back here. But coming up on a minute, not tracking any holds on the board right now. So as long as we don't have any last second things, which do happen.
They're clapping.
All right, flight director just confirmed T-minus 1 minute.
So it might hold a
Key
40,
moment
but
to
it might
look
get
at
past.
in 10 seconds, that T-minus 40.
That's gone past.
And we flew right through that.
It's gonna go.
Flight directors go for launch.
All right, we're now T-minus 20 seconds until liftoff of Starship Flight 6. This will mark our second attempt to catch the Super Heavy booster at the launch tower, as well as
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Detect liftoff.
There she goes. Got all engines going.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Booster Raptor, chamber pressure nominal.
Look at the camera.
Booster and ship, avionics, power, and telemetry nominal.
1,000 kilometers an hour.
All right, we're just a little over a minute
maximum
into flight.
dynamic pressure.
We're about 6 miles away, so all the sound's still hitting us here. Hearing good call-outs that power telemetry nominal, that's flying straight and true. We do see all 33 Raptor engines lit up on telemetry screens. At this point, we've passed through that point of maximum aerodynamic pressure, that max Q. Now, coming up in just a little over a minute from now is going to be hot staging. So we're going to see the 6 engines on the ship ignite while still attached to the booster. Just before that, we'll see all but 3 center engines on the booster shut down. In what we call MECO, it's most engines cut off instead of main engine. And so while we continue to watch it go up, a lot of our flight controllers looking at all the systems around the tower. Again, we have to send a manual command.
Let's see if they bring the booster back.
Just about 30 seconds away from hot staging.
You see it come out the side when it
And
doesn't.
we heard the tower is go for catch.
Booster engine cut off.
That was
The
go.
return flag is set for true.
Ship engine startup.
Stage separation.
All right, hot staging confirmed.
Booster
6 out of
boost
6
back
lit on the ship. Booster boost back going. We heard that we are go for catch.
Going for the
Kate,
catch.
Jesse, take out the views. Hopefully I got a booster coming home real soon.
Wow, from our view here, Dan, great views of planet Earth behind that super heavy booster. Right now it is performing the
Ship
boost
chamber
back
pressure
burn.
nominal.
Good news there, telling us that the pressures inside the ship are good. That is the second stage or the upper portion of the vehicle. Follow along with the telemetry on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, booster is currently, super heavy is currently in its boost back burn. This boost back burn,
Avionics power and telemetry nominal.
this boost back burn lasts just a little bit over a minute. So we've got a little, approximately 30 seconds left.
We've had shutdown of that boost back burn. Up next will be hot stage jettison. The view from the camera on the left, or from the booster on the left-hand side of your screen, and then tracking cam there on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll see those grid fins.
Booster offshore divert.
And we can
Jettison.
also see that the hot stage has
Floating
been
away.
jettisoned.
Yes, visual confirmation of that there on your screen, which is great. Now the next
Starship is following a nominal trajectory.
The next step for booster is going into that landing burn. Again, it'll light up 13 of those engines and then pare down to 3 engines right before booster catch.
All right, now just real quick, we did hear the call out, booster offshore divert. Unfortunately, that means that we are no-go for the catch.
They changed it.
As we said before, both the
Gone
tower
for
and
water.
the vehicle, as well as the operators on console, have been actively evaluating the commit criteria for that return to the launch tower. And unfortunately, we did not have a pass on those commit criteria. So we are no-go for tower catch.
And we did mention that we're
It's coming down to
constantly
water.
evaluating the criteria for catch. There's a lot of things that need to go well in order to line that up. Unfortunately, today we will forego booster catch today. But what you're seeing on your
Got me all
screen
excited.
is ship currently making its way towards the Indian Ocean. Still looking good so far.
Exactly. So views there of the booster on the left-hand side of your screen, views of the ship on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, we've said before that it was not guaranteed that we would be able to make a tower catch today. So while we were hoping for it, like we said, it was pretty epic on attempt 1, but the safety of the teams and the public and the pad itself are paramount. So we are accepting no compromises in any of those areas.
Exactly, and we're still going to get a lot of good flight data with booster even, but especially with ship. Again, we have an additional objective today to do an in-space relight of a Raptor engine, which again will help us set us up for being able to do deorbit burns, which is
Ship chamber pressure is nominal.
which
But how they just
important
changed the
for orbital
coordinates.
flights. And what you're seeing on your screen is a view from Super Heavy as it's making its way back down to Earth.
Yeah, once again, we are attempting an offshore landing of the Super Heavy booster. So we have seen this before, and it is still very fun to watch, watching it come down for a soft splashdown off the Gulf Coast of Texas. We can see it there re-entering. We saw earlier those grid fins. There are 4 hypersonic grid fins. Oh, we can see that the landing burn has begun on the Super Heavy booster.
And same pattern, 13 engines will light, gone down to 3 just as we expected. And what an incredible view of splashdown that we got today of Super Heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure the buoy cam views will be pretty awesome once again. So we'd like to confirm a water landing once again for the Super Heavy booster. Congrats to the SpaceX team for making that milestone as well. Now, ship continues to look good. We can see that it is, while all of that was happening, the crowd here in Hawthorne continuing to react to all these amazing views that we're getting. The next milestone is
Starship is in terminal guidance.
Where's the
great news
banana?
there. Starship terminal guidance, referring to what we see here on our screen, the upper stage, at about 8 minutes 35 seconds or so, we have ship engine cutoff, which will be the cutoff of the Raptor engines.
Put down to the 3.
We can see on our screen ship giving us some incredible views brought to us by Starlink. This view is also very interesting because we can see basically the receding tile line that we referred to earlier, where we mentioned we have removed a number of heat shield tiles in order to test out and push the envelope on the ship and demonstrate what its capabilities are.
Ship engine cutoff.
And there we just heard call out for SECO, ship engine cutoff. Great news there. Everything continuing to look awesome.
There's just stick cameras everywhere, don't you?
Full view looking aft on ship here.
Ship FTS is saved. Nominal orbit insertion.
There's that call out we were waiting for. Confirmation of good orbital insertion for ship today.
It has been a very exciting afternoon so far. We'd like to send it back over to Dan, who can give us that live view experience. Dan, once again, are you okay after witnessing another Starship launch?
Yeah, totally fine.
The sun.
You guys have to be jealous. This is the only way to do this. This is fantastic. No, it was really cool to see a liftoff, 33 out of 33. Didn't go for the booster catch today. Initially, we were good, and then we tripped a commit criteria and did the offshore divert. So we went and did that water landing, as everybody saw. We'll dig into it a little bit more, but again, we've done it once, we've now done it twice. We're going to keep trying to do it, as this is just a core capability of Starship and what's going to make it so incredible. There's a lot left. We're just about almost 10 minutes into this flight, so about 50 plus minutes still to go. Ship nominal orbit, so it's on its way around the planet. It's going to attempt to do an in-space burn. We're going to light one of those Raptor engines, the sea level ones in the middle, just to help demonstrate that we can relight in that microgravity environment. Really critical for deorbit burns as we start to do some orbital missions in the not too distant future. And then following that, we'll see a ship entry, maybe a splashdown. As you guys said, we're really going to be pushing ship on this one. We're pretty much intentionally putting it in places where we expect it might not do so great, and all that's to try and help us learn, see if we were a little too conservative, and then maybe that opens up more capability for when we start catching them. But I'll check back in with everybody in a little bit. I'm going to tune in and watch the ship fly around planet Earth, and hopefully we see it re-entering in the not too distant future. Back over to you guys.
Thanks, Dan. Development testing, by definition, is unpredictable, which we saw with Super Heavy splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico today, but that is exactly why we test. As is standard for these tests, the area around the pad and along the flight path was cleared prior to launch, and we expect the road and beach to remain closed until further notice.
Yeah, testing development flight hardware in a flight environment is what enables our teams to quickly learn and execute design changes and hardware upgrades to improve the probability of success in the future. Please do not attempt to approach the booster in the water for your safety as well as for that of our team that will be working on recovery. Now, we are going to continue, though. The mission is not done.
Exactly. The mission's not over. Ship is still coasting. But it has been nonstop since liftoff, and with the booster having completed its job for the day, we are going to take a short break for the next 35 minutes or so while ship continues to coast before re-entry. Now, as with previous flights, Starlink may enable us to talk to the ship through re-entry with no communication blackout. Now, we are still testing Starlink during this phase of flight, so nothing is completely certain.
Yeah, so if we do have views, we will be sure to bring those to you live. And of course, one of those views include that of our, as we said before, surprise payload, the banana. And we are looking forward to it. So we're going to come back in a few minutes, around T plus 35 minutes.
Exactly. Views or no views, we'll see you back here at
35.
T plus 40 minutes for our coverage of Starship's re-entry, flip maneuver, landing burn, and hopefully see a splashdown.
Got my own music. I'll just leave that running now. So the fuse will probably just chop in and out, but a splashdown. Better go splashdown though. Started going and bobbing. Whoa. Now it's just got to coast along. But it wants to come back down. But get a daylight one. Going over the dark side of the earth. Which might actually get like the sun coming over at some point. Nice little camera angle there. Ba-ba-bam. See at the bottom right, you can see like the atmosphere. It'll glow. Oh, come back. I don't know how it's going to come down, if they're doing it a different way and coming down more steeper. See if it actually survives it. It still burned through the flap a little bit last time as well. But done what it had to do. It's the banana. Banana. Mm-hmm. Bum. So let's just keep the camera views on. I'll keep the camera views on. Got my hopes up though, saying they're going to go for the tower and then change their mind. I was like, no! We just take that off me. That's a cool look. Low in the distance. Got some time to kill. How's it go doing my toilet trip then? The music playing for the camera. Where did my camera go? Ah! Second. I'm missing in action. Bam, bam, bam. Just go for the normal one then. Got a wrap in there. How we doing? Watching the banana. Loving the camera still. Oh, I don't think it is. I can see stuff flying up on the left. Floating round. Yep. The astronaut banana. We go back to the rest of the bananas. You won't believe what happened. No, I'm not gonna survive. I think the ship will blow up in the water. And someone's just gonna find a banana floating. Some guy will be out on a raft floating around like dehydrated and hungry, and he just sees a banana float next to him. Yeah, where'd this come from? They have any more? That's too big for this screen. Do that. Store page. I always try and like look out, you know, for like games like Raft, because I just mentioned Raft, like if the developers ever like work on something else or good game, just makes me hungry because your stomach's always rumbling on it. But we don't know if this is going to make it through. If the next time we do get, well, depends on what time we do it on. If we get more on this time. Let's say the first one on this time, so all the rest have been 2 PM our time. It's 7, 8 their time in the morning. I think it's been about 7 their time in the morning. Ba-dum-bum-bum. And they come back at 8:35, I think they said. It's literally sitting there, 189 kilometers. I think. Done. Let's have a look. I think it starts going back down around 40 something. Get me to the page. Or not. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. All times, so right timeline. Yeah, re-entry 47. In space demo at 37. Yeah, that'll be back at 35 then. 2 minutes after the see if they do the Raptor relight, and then re-entry should be 47. With starts to heat up. Ba-bum. Have a look at some stuff. Be good if I could use steering wheel with farming some. Use a controller at least. Give it a quick check once it's sold them. There it stairs. I've lost it now. It's gonna be landed by 1 hour 5 if it survives. Oh. How far have you got on your Dragon Age now? You still going at it, or have you got to a point where it's too jittery? I don't know how bad it is for you. Ba-bum. I have to give us views of the banana on the way down. I'm cooking in here. Put it this way, it takes a while for the graphics to load in, so the character could run somewhere, and the next thing I know, they're stuck on a build. Okay, you get you. Like if I load in too quick on Red Dead, I'm like, I'm gonna run. Just ahead. But yeah, the building's not loading. Is that because you gotta turn everything down? It's probably the video RAM as well. Like I've got games here I can't really play at the moment until I've upgraded it from like Rooted. That Rooted I can't stream any of that anyway because it's in alpha. And same with, I mean I did play Icarus, was it? But that is a pretty powerful game. Oh yeah, so you're sitting there trying to do. It gets frustrating in the end. Be like when I used to play 5M and I'd fall for the floor. I'm like, what the hell, man? Bum bum bum. It's 5 million people tuned in. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Feels like a chore trying to play it. I think it just depends. I mean, Cyberpunk's had a lot of stuff work done. I mean, actually, you start playing it anyway when it's still going through that process of stuff, on it. It may even still be installed. I don't know though. No, I did install it because like, oh, I'll go on that at some point. But then I just installed it and I ended up uninstalling it because I'm like, too busy. I literally have not played that since the first time it came out. Been on it briefly. Last played February 28th, 2022. So nearly 3 years ago. They're still doing stuff on there as well. I think. Did you play the DLC? Played it once. How was it? No, Joe played it. He said it was good. DJ Adrius. That's his name. Quite good to be fair. Endings were a bit mental, but that's the whole point of the game and the environment. Yeah, I need to get back on it again. Like I was watching people and I was like, you can get your own apartments and all that now, and like all different stuff and live your life in it, do mad stuff. There's some reflect on the side of it.
about 35 minutes into today's flight test, continuing to get some live views from Starship itself as it continues to make its way around the globe.
You just can't decorate their paths, but you can get them across various parts of the city.
What we will hopefully see
Is that the original one when I played?
Relight demonstration. This will be firing up one of those 3 sea level Raptors on the very aft end of the ship, and essentially reigniting it while we're in that microgravity environment in Earth orbit. We had attempted this once previously on Flight 3, but ended up skipping it when we had some attitude control issues with the ship. And we are on the dark side of the planet right now, so views are going to be a little bit dark, but hopefully we see some engine light come on as we do this relight test. This is a pretty critical capability for doing deorbit burns. This is not a deorbit burn. Want to stress that we're on a trajectory where if we didn't fire off the engine at all, we are definitely coming home. Ooh, seeing some thunderstorms down on the ground. That's pretty cool. But this is not a deorbit burn. If we didn't fire this engine, we're on a intentional suborbital trajectory. So no matter what, we're coming in over the Indian Ocean. Firing off the engine does change your exact splashdown point a little bit, but we've got this keep out zone across the entire Indian Ocean that we made sure was clear ahead of flight, and we continue to monitor during. But we're going to aim for that and hopefully see this relight test coming on in about a minute. It's just going to be one of these engines, and it uses what's called the header tank, so these small spherical tanks in the very top of Starship, up in the nose cone. They don't require nearly as much gas to pressurize as your main tank, so they're really useful for any in-orbit maneuvers, and then for landing burns. So if we make it to a landing burn today, we'll be using them for that as well. So we should be coming up in just about the next minute. Should be under a minute now, away from that expected ship burn.
We did have the clear image of that.
And again,
the thunderstorms.
We've relit Raptors pretty frequently. We just did it with the landing burn.
I know they said something like
boost burn on the booster, and we've done it on ship landing burns. We just haven't done it in this microgravity environment where your propellant management and a lot of other things are different, as you're not weighed down by the force of Earth's gravity.
You've light it up, lit one up. That's all they're doing in there. Here we go.
And just heard the call out for startup. There's some light. There's that Raptor relit. And shut down. All right, there you have it. The first time ever lighting a Raptor while in outer space, other than our ascent burn. So really cool to see that relit. That's a pretty critical capability that we're going to need when we're doing orbital missions in the not too distant future. So check another one off. That was a really cool. That was an objective we really wanted to hit on this one, and so good to see ship knock that one out in orbit. But for now, we're going to coast for just a little bit longer, and then it'll be time for ship entry. So we'll get the usual light show as we return from hypersonic velocities. We're just starting to do the entry prep for that, so we're going to get the flaps positioned, and then it's going to start taking the brunt of all of that heat as you're coming in from well in excess of 10,000 miles an hour. That's all going to build up a lot of heat as you're encountering an increasing atmosphere, building up that friction. And we're going to see how the tiles fare. We've also got some pretty cool tile experiments that we'll talk about in a little bit. But coming up real soon, ship re-entry, successful relight, and we'll start this entry part soon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think you see them thunderstorms. See little flickers of light. Yeah, I did I seen like Cyberpunk 2 or something like that. And I was thinking it took them that long to make the first one. How long is that one gonna take? But well, it's just gonna take the same build. Kind of like, what am I looking at now? They're just starting to heat up. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to do that fast. So. It's coming out on a different angle, isn't it? Or something like that this time. See the diagram at the bottom? It's going face down. Using Unreal. Jesus, what's that going to look like? Holy crap. Melody looks great. I mean, especially when you bang up the ray tracing. I don't know, because you have to go back to scratch it. It's sudden like how that game started off and everyone was like give it negative reviews and how it ended up. A lovely plasma build up on the ship. This is a lot, like a lot, last two have been like that, just doesn't even look like it's moving. It's like a picture. That flap moving right back. It's still moving. But a few stuff come out next year, haven't we? Like I said, I'm guessing you might get the second trailer for GTA maybe next month. Then in the summer they'll get like a gameplay one. There could be like a, I don't know what way they've done it with all the previous stuff, whether it was a story one and then a gameplay one, like in the summer. Got me Death Stranding 2. Which I think once I'm done with the Metal Gear ones that I want to play, I'll go back to Death Stranding. If I can time it right, once I get a release date for the second one, I can time it and go back through that. It can lead me perfectly into the second one then. Which I may, especially for YouTube purposes, because I mean it's probably going to be a bit online like the last one, but I will probably just buy it on the PlayStation. I will probably do that with some of the high-end games now, just to take the ease off the computer. Moving. There's a camera on the other flap on. I think this is the top end, nose end, looking down. I think. Engine. .96 kilometers. Oh, that's nice. It's nice. We also get the last season of Stranger Things next year, and there's something else of this series. The Last of Us, season 2, RPL. There's games that I've still got. I've not played, like Baldur's Gate that Arjo told me to go. Hell, I haven't played that because that is quite computer heavy. I could play it fine, but it's also stupidly big. How big is it again? Let me uninstall it from wherever it is. $147 gigs. Oh, Joe's got nearly 200 hours in it. Jesus. I don't really know much about D&D. So. I played it briefly and I could see like, oh yeah, it'd be quite fun, but sometimes I'd rather just load in onto DayZ or something and just go, oh, go survive. So on re-entry.
Is beginning to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. As a reminder, one of the main goals of today's flight test is for the ship to make it through the extreme heat of re-entry and to do so in a controlled manner. Now, re-entry is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communication capability with the spacecraft because it's re-entering at or around orbital velocity, which is roughly 8 kilometers per second or about 5 miles per second. Now at those speeds, yep, pretty fast. The spacecraft is moving through the atmosphere rather quickly, and that results in friction, as we can see that starting to happen on our screen, and this creates a plasma field around the vehicle. That blanket of plasma distorts communication frequencies, so it's not uncommon to experience brief blackouts in communication.
Don't kick the bin there.
Starship is approaching the peak heating phase of entry.
Ooh.
And we just heard we're getting into the peak heating phase. We're getting these views courtesy of Starlink. We've got 4 different terminals on the ship itself. It's what's really allowed us to get real-time data during what's otherwise been just a mystery box, essentially, for spacecraft design, where when you're re-entering through the atmosphere, at least getting anything in real time hasn't ever been possible before, but we're able to not just get these views, but real-time telemetry from the ship as it's coming through. Do really want to stress that we are really pushing the ship today. The heat shield is not in the same configuration as it was last flight, where we had a team of ship techs do just an otherworldly task, replacing the entire heat shield, thousands of tiles, installing a backup ablative, and that pretty much set us up to do a pinpoint landing on Flight 5. We did not do that with this one. We have some backup in those really sensitive areas around the flap, but this is an older generation heat shield. And knowing we weren't going to do that, we even went and removed some extra tiles. There are some missing tiles on the nose cone where we're testing some backups. There are some steel-covered tiles in a couple of different spots. And there's also a whole lot more steel of the ship showing. As you guys talked about, we gave it a little bit of a haircut, a couple hundred tiles trimmed off the sides, and that's where we might have catch fittings in the future. But ooh, color's starting to come in. So it looks like things are going to start heating up, Kate and Jesse.
Yeah, fun fact, Dan, we actually removed 2,100 heat shield tiles from Starship in order to basically present that necessary receding line, which you kind of can see there in your view. Think back to previous flights. The heat shield line came up further on the vehicle, and just like Dan said, we want to test the vehicle beyond what we think it is capable of carrying based on our simulations and calculations. So once again, to just be super plain, don't be surprised if we see some wackadoodle stuff happen here. We won't be. There are a number of things that we are testing out intentionally to see what the ship can take.
Yeah, exactly. And knowing what those limits are will really help us design the vehicle of the future. Essentially, removing those tiles helps us remove a lot of weight from the vehicle, a lot of things that might potentially need refurbishment in the future. And the goal is to come up with a heat shield pattern or design that we don't have to refurbish. We can just continue to use it over and over again. And that's why we're changing some of those tiles and moving stuff around, removing a lot of those tiles, as Kate has been mentioning.
Exactly. And, looking forward to the Starship capability of the future, we want to be able to catch Starship like we do with boosters. And so the next flight, we want to better understand where we can install catch hardware, not necessarily to actually do the catch, but to see how that hardware holds up in those spots. And today's flight will help inform, does the stainless steel hold up like we think it may based on experiments that we conducted on Flight 5? Now, continuing to look, amazing views. Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, there's so much on this flight that we're doing to try and, make all the ships that we're about to start flying even better. Just really understand what their capabilities are gonna be. We've got kind of the next gen ship lined up for Flight 7. It's got all of those heat shield upgrades and everything. And one of the things that we're going to be doing that's most interesting, and one of the reasons we wanted daylight, is we're going to be flying pretty aggressively as ship comes in. We're going to be kind of nose down, and we've done it in wind tunnels, we've done it in simulations. You might see the flaps really flapping around trying to control the vehicle. We're betting we might have a little bit more capability than we think in just the analysis, but always a chance that bet doesn't pay off. But that just helps us know, like, what are our
Starship
limits.
is now halfway through the peak heating phase of entry.
Sweet. Halfway there. Halfway home, guys.
Yeah, and if you guys, again, can follow along with the altitude and the speed of ship as it's making its way back down to Earth, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Speed is still going really, really fast. Again, as it gets closer to Earth, we'll see that altitude drop a little bit faster. It's kind of dropping pretty slow right now. And again, as we get closer and closer to literally the surface of the water, then we'll start to see that speed pick up. And if we can make it through this re-entry, we will attempt to do that flip maneuver once again and splash down in the ocean.
Exactly. Like we've been saying, we are testing beyond the perceived limits of the vehicle. We want to go learn more about the ship, and this is a great opportunity to do that. So really pushing the flight hardware in a flight environment to help inform these future designs. As we've mentioned, it has a different heat shield. This heat shield is not the same generation as what we flew last time. This one is one generation older. So we are also testing out new secondary thermal protection materials. So basically, like, if the heat shield isn't in this one spot, can this other material protect the metal is the thinking there. Also checking of the ship's structural strength in those areas where we're looking to add that ship catch hardware, just to see if it survives entry. So yeah, as we've been saying, we've done a lot of calculations and simulations. This view right here is super cool. This is looking out from the aft engine bay, basically at the bottom of Starship. Then on the center left-hand panel, if you will, we have one of the forward Starship flaps. So one of the flaps located at the top of the vehicle. Underneath that is one of the aft end flaps, like the one that we see in the main picture there on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, these views as the vehicle continues to enter the Earth's atmosphere, drawing a crowd once again here at SpaceX and Hawthorne as folks tune in as the mission continues on. Now, the next event that we have coming up, we should hear the call out that the vehicle is transonic around T+1 hour and 2 minutes or so. That means that the vehicle is traveling near the speed of sound. We say near the speed of sound because there are certain parts of the vehicle where airflow is going faster and other parts where it's going slower. So it kind of teeters there on the brink of the speed of sound. So once we have equal flow on all parts, then we'll hear it's subsonic.
What about the banana?
And almost real quick, almost a reverse of, I'm sorry, Jesse, almost a reverse of before. We see the Earth starting to come into view. We've got sunrise there over the Indian Ocean. So this is going to look different from any of the re-entries we've had before. And it was specifically so like we get as much daylight as possible to see how ship does this. Over to you, Jesse. Sorry about that.
Dan, great minds think alike. That's exactly what I was going to point out, is that we're getting a lot clearer view of the Earth in the background with the different temperatures that we're seeing, with the different colors of that plasma around the ship, which is really, really cool to see. Again, we are pushing the limits of ship today, but so far everything is looking pretty nominal. We'll see how the next few minutes goes.
Yeah. Like we've said before, don't be surprised if this is not entirely smooth sailing all the way down to the ocean's surface. Similar to Flight 5, we are targeting the same splashdown location in the Indian Ocean, but we are not expecting to recover the vehicle.
Right, and we were getting some glimpses of the flaps. The flaps so far are looking pretty good. We're not seeing any burn through. There's those flaps again. In that hinge area, which is our most concerning area there. That's great news for us for now. Again, the next few minutes could change as we continue to push those limits.
Yeah, once we slow down a little bit, once we're subsonic essentially, so I think that's about 1,200 kilometers an hour. Once we're down below that, that's when we're going to kind of dip our nose down and get that more aggressive angle of attack. Normally we're just belly flop right into the water, pretty much that position. But if we're going to be able to do return to launch sites, we're going to want to be able to fly with a little bit more of an angle of attack, get you a little bit more range as you're coming through. And so this'll be just a test to see quite how far can we push it. And obviously we're going to do these kind of tests way out here in super remote areas before you ever try to bring a ship back to a place like Starbase.
Starship remains on a good entry trajectory. External temperatures are coming down.
All right, great news there. That tells us that we
It'll be a while then if they're going to switch to a nosedive.
Phase of peak heating. So we are expecting these temperatures to continue to come down. Once again, we are targeting a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Around the
it's got a bit of burn on the flap there, the middle one.
Of Australia. We can see these beautiful views of planet Earth coming
burn.
in. Yeah, this is very different, where we had nighttime views of the ship as it was re-entering, and now we've got daylight. It is about an hour or so after sunrise there in the Indian Ocean, so pretty cool to see this.
Yeah, and it might not seem like it makes a huge difference, but we do get a little bit more light on ship as well for the camera views that we have, which is very beneficial for us to visually see anything and try and correlate that to any of the sensors or data that we have on the vehicle.
Exactly. That is why we shifted our launch window so that we could have that daylight in order to improve our observations of the vehicle. So not only are we getting all the raw data from all the sensors that are on board Starship, but we also have multiple cameras and assets out there that are watching the vehicle and will also be able to tell us with this visual story that is also very, very important.
And as we get down a little bit lower, the Raptor engines are in their chill phase right now, so just essentially getting them primed to turn on. We're going to use those 3 center engines to do a landing flip and then a landing burn. So we'll come down kind of in that slightly pointed down belly flop and then fire off those engines to flip us around and then do that final landing burn. That should be coming up in just a little over, just under 5 minutes from now. And then hopefully we start hearing some
cool video
call-outs on transonic and subsonic as we slow down. Again, once you hear Starship as subsonic, keep a close eye on the flaps. They're going to be working overtime essentially to maintain control of the ship as we get a little more aggressive with this.
Let's get aggressive. That bit's bent, it's just toasting away.
We can see that we are beginning...
Starship has passed maximum entry dynamic pressure.
All right, great call out there. But we can see on this view here that we do have some heating there on that looks like one of the forward flaps on Starship. This is to be expected. We knew that the vehicle would perform differently than what we had seen on Flight 5. This is actually really good data because it tells us what parts of the vehicle at this, what will soon be a higher angle of attack once we drop down below the speed of sound. We'll have a higher angle of attack, meaning we're going to be flying nose down, basically. So yeah, this is good news, but we can actually, looks like that heating is starting to cool off there.
Yeah, it's a little burn through. Again, it is important to note when we start seeing that through the ship's descent as well. So like Kate was saying, we're getting some really good data here. It looks like the other flaps are doing a little better than the one that has a little burn through, which is some good news. Again, constantly watching. We've got a couple minutes until we're expecting to make it all the way back down to Earth.
Exactly. And like we said before, we are not expecting to recover the ship, although that would be great. It'd be a nice bonus if it happened, but it's not really in our expectations today. We really want to push the hardware, as we've been saying, but really the telemetry and the data and the video that we receive all the way to the end is truly what we're looking for and will help inform the future designs of this vehicle.
Oh.
We can see some flap movement as the camera is moving around. That's what you're seeing there is the flaps adjusting. We have a camera on one of the flaps there this is the view that you're seeing there.
It looks like it just stopped.
And you can also see the graphic in the bottom.
Starship is slowing down past Mach 1.
And
Starting
call outs
to
aligning with this, you
turn.
can see the orientation of the vehicle starting to change. You can follow that graphic at the bottom of your screen. Again, that is why those flaps are changing. They control the orientation of the vehicle.
Yeah, there are four. Go ahead, Dan.
Starship has started the subsonic belly flop, remains on a good trajectory.
I was going to say this is when things will start to get a little interesting. So this is when we're moving slower than the speed of sound. You can see that nose slowly start to tip down, and we're going to try and maintain flap control the whole way. But we are just a couple minutes away from hopefully doing a landing flip and landing burn if the flaps can hold
12
together.
kilometers.
Yeah, this is such a cool view. This reminds me
I think it's just going to let you go through the clouds and skip the water.
The belly flop maneuver on the high altitude test with serial number 8. We saw the ship come back through, and I always wondered what it looked like from the ship's perspective, and this perspective, I think, helps inform that. We will be, as Dan said, we will be dipping down a little further and really be flying nose first. This higher angle of attack, we're intentionally doing it to stress those aft flaps, and that will help inform the limits of flap control in order to collect data for future landing profiles.
6 kilometers. 5.
I mean, we're looking good so far. We've just got about 5 kilometers in altitude to go. We'll ignite the engines when we're still just a couple hundred meters over the ground, do that flip.
Starship is passing through 5 kilometers altitude, remains on a good trajectory.
I have a feeling this is going to look so cool as it passes through the clouds.
Obligatory shout out to the entire avionics team on Starship.
The nosedive.
And there's that nose down orientation.
Now the Raptor engines will relight and help flip the booster back up. This is a more severe flip given the orientation. The engines will shut down prior to the water making impact, prior to the vehicle making impact with the water.
There's the water.
Our ship is doing great so far. There's those engines relighting.
What a great reorientation by Starship.
Wow. All 3 down to 2 into the water.
Starship is landed.
Damn.
Wow.
And we have ship splashed down in the Indian Ocean.
Blow it up.
Some awesome buoy cam action here. Daylight views.
Incredible. We really pushed the limits on shipping and made it all the way back down to Earth.
Gonna go boom boom.
I am shocked, to be honest. I think many folks are. The fact that it survived all the way through while flying a lesser gen heat shield is just absolutely incredible. And turns out the vehicle had more capability than our calculations predicted. And that is why we test like we fly.
Exactly why we do that. And those views were absolutely incredible to watch. Because of Starlink, we were able to get the views all the way down, as well as the buoys, seeing ship touchdown in daylight.
So cool, so cool. Now, we want to, unfortunately, wrap up the show.
Yeah,
Wrap it up.
exactly. We'll say congratulations to our teammates at SpaceX and to everyone who supported the Starship program. And thank you to all of our future customers for your support.
We'd also like to thank the people of Cameron County, Texas, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration.
But that was fun to watch. I like to watch how it goes. Well, that's quite cool out in the daylight. That's what it's going like when you have to do a tower catch. And you got them cameras. That's coming down like that. Da-da. Oh, I think I'll wrap up now then. Nice chilled evening. Watching rockets and shit. Hopefully I'll get time this weekend to do more Metal Gear. I'm gonna go and gonna go chill before I get my head down. It's a shame the boots didn't come back, but we're in the water. Looked alright going in the water. So I am gonna finish up. Good night. We have an easy day tomorrow and hopefully it's not too cold for us. It's pretty cold now still. But good night. Good night.